Welcome to tonight's web class. Tonight, we are going to be talking about creating a mindful life. I hope you found that music soothing enough to help you relax just a little bit so that you're able to concentrate on what's being said and learn something new tonight. I'm Keisha Golder, and I help women define their unique purpose so they can live a life that they created on their own terms. I also created the Your Life Purpose Makeover Journey, which is a 3-stage, 9-step program, but we'll talk more about that later. Please remember there will be a question and answer section towards the end of the presentation. So if you can hold all questions until then, it will be greatly appreciated. Before we jump into tonight's topic, let's recap. Last week we discussed what skills are, the different types of skills, and let me remind you what the different types of skills are. They are hard skills as well as soft skills. We also talked about the different ways to identify your skills, such as connecting with people who have known you and are able to see things that are skills that you may not see, as well as reviewing old job performance reviews or report cards from school, things like that, that'll give you an idea of what other people see in you in addition to what in yourself. And lastly, we talked about how our skills can help us find our purpose. Tonight, like I said, we are talking about creating a meaningful life. So not only are we talking about how to create a meaningful life, we're going to talk about how balance and wellness can help us create that meaningful life, and how finding our purpose also helps us with living a meaningful life. The first topic we're discussing is just creating a meaningful life. Now, when I say creating a meaningful life, you're probably thinking, what does it mean to live a meaningful life? This is going to be different for everyone, as we are all different and different things have meaning to us. So what might be a meaningful life to me may not be the same thing for you. But essentially, it is being at peace with yourself, the things in your life in general, and the people around you. It could also mean feeling joy, contentment, love, peace, and freedom on days when you wake up. It may not be every day, but more days you're feeling these things as opposed to days that you're not feeling these things. Now, why do we want a meaningful life? Because we want to feel that we are a part of something bigger than us, and we want to engage in things that have a longer life than we may have. So you oftentimes hear people talk about they want a legacy that's similar to a meaningful life, because their legacy is going to carry on far longer than they ever will. But here's the thing about creating a meaningful life or living a meaningful life. We all want it, but we are hesitant to say that we want a meaningful life. And even more so, we don't sometimes recognize that we want a meaningful life. So instead of coming out saying that, hey, I think I deserve more in life, something that's going to give me a sense of fulfillment that I do not have right now, we'll just live through whatever we're suffering through because we don't know how to communicate what it is that we want, or we don't know how to recognize that it's missing. So if we can't recognize that it's missing, we can't communicate that thing is what we are looking for. So how can we begin to live a meaningful life? Or if you think you're living a meaningful life, how can you gauge that you're actually living a meaningful life? Here are 5 different ways that I chose out of a list of many that can help you either begin or help you gauge whether or not you're living a meaningful life. You are excited about your day and cannot wait to start living. How many times have you woken up and after that first yawn or stretch, you started saying to yourself, I'm not for this today. I'd rather stay home in my bed. Or I don't feel like dealing with people today. I have, and most of us have. It's normal behavior that we've made normal because we're used to it. Well, if you're doing those things, then you're not living a meaningful life. I know we've all seen movies where the characters wake up and stretch and yawn and have a big smile on their face, open the curtains, and yes, let's start our day. That's what we want. Do we want it to be the animated? That's up to you. Are all days going to be like that? No. But when you are able to wake up and feel excited about getting your day started, then you know that you are living within meaning, that your life has meaning to you, and that the things that you're doing in your life has meaning to you. Another way to gauge your meaningful life status is to know whether or not you're afraid to try new things. Some of us are often afraid to try new things. That would be me. I do not try anything that I have not heard, have not seen before. I've always been that way. But I've noticed that as I've gotten older, I'll try things only after I've done research on them. No, I'm not saying that is what you have to do. But for me, it's easier for me to be presented with something new to try, possibly want to try it, but will hold off until I've done my research on it. And then once I've done my research on it, that will determine whether or not I try it. I'm not so much afraid anymore, but there were times where, yes, if it was not something I was used to, if it was not a fruit, a food, a place, or anything that I was used to, I was not going to try it. No, I was not going to zip line. I was not going to climb mountains. I was not going to do any of that because that's not what I was used to. That was something new to me. Would I try it now? Yes. As I've gotten older and learned that new things open us up to new experiences and new outlooks on life, yes, I would absolutely try it, but with researching it first. The third way that you can begin to live a meaningful life is to know what to do to make you feel good. Now, you're probably, what did you just say? You need to know what it is that you can do to make you feel good. Every day is not going to be rainbows and sunshine. Yes, we would love for every day to be like that. But the reality is, it's not. As a part of the spiritual community, people often think that we are all light and love and always bubbly and always just ready to radiate this light to everyone. But we're all human. We all have our off days. We all have our days where we're just not feeling it. What makes a difference is whether or not we know what to do to turn that around for us. And so for me, I know that if it's a day where I'm not feeling like dealing with people or even just putting on the smile, I take some time to myself to either meditate, to stretch. I've actually, this weekend, I learned some new stretches that open up my energy to flow more freely within my body. So to stretch, to burn sage, to pray, whatever it is for you that is going to make you feel good. It could be running around the track or going to the gym. Anything that you know that's going to make you feel good, that is a way to know that you're living a meaningful life. The fourth way that you can gauge it is to be able to take care of what bothers you. Let me repeat that. You can take care of what bothers you. That does not say you sit in what bothers you. It does not say that you fester over what bothers you. You're able to take care of it. So when I say that you take care of it, let me preface it with this. As humans, we are allotted 3 minutes to experience any emotion. After those 3 minutes, we let it go, whether or not we have taken care of it or not. So when you experience your emotions, those 3 minutes, you can feel it, you can delve in it, you can dwell in it, you can decide that you're no longer going to feel it, you can decide that you want to change it, whatever it is that you're doing within those 3 minutes. And after those 3 minutes, are you able to take care of it? To take care of what's bothering you? And it's not necessarily just emotions. This could be a situation with a person. How are you going to handle that? Are you going to let it continue to fester and these emotions and feelings continue to boil up till you have a real big outburst and you can't control yourself in that outburst? Or are you going to address the issue with that person at the moment that it happens? Because a lot of the time, and for myself included, I don't do it too much anymore, but when there's a situation that I don't like or that bothers me, I have held on to it. And I've let things pile up, and then it's a bottleneck, and I just explode like a soda that's been shaken too much. And people look at you like you're crazy, but you're not crazy. You just are not good at being able to take care of the things that bothered you. Because had I addressed the situation when it first happened, there would be nothing to bottleneck, which would eventually lead to explosion. We take care of it when it happens. That's done. That's it. We don't even revisit it. So are you able to do that? Are you able to find another way that is going to allow you to take care of what bothers you? And the last way, that you're doing the best that you can. Let me repeat that one again. That you are doing the best that you can. Not the best that your best friend can or the best that your neighbor can. You are doing the best that you can. In life, that is all that you can ask for. You can't compare yourself to anyone else because, why? Their journey is not your journey. We've all seen the picture from the Olympics a couple years ago when Michael Phelps was swimming and he was neck and neck with the guy, but the guy kept turning over to look at Michael Phelps and the guy eventually lost and Michael Phelps won. You can't worry about the next person in the next lane. They're not you. Stay focused on what it is that you need to do for you. And that leads you to living in meaning. Excuse me. Now that we've talked about living a meaningful life, we're going to talk about balance and wellness and how it contributes to a meaningful life. Now, when I talk about balance and wellness is a way of life whose goal is to promote optimal health and well-being, where the mind, body, and spirit work together, not just the body. All of these things have to work together in order for us to be what is considered well. Now, when you refer to balance is making sure that our life is given equal attention in all of the areas of our life. So now we're not just talking about mind, body, and spirit. We're talking about other areas of our life as well. These things have to work together. So can I be unbalanced and well? We would like to think that we could, but in actuality, if you're unbalanced, that means something is lacking, which means you are not in 100% of wellness. So here is what we call the wheel of life. If you can see it, you have 8 areas of life. And in each area, you have notches. And then you see that you have the numbers 5 and 10. These gauges for you to determine how much you're giving to each area. And each area put together makes up our life, and we want it to be equal. Take it, I'm going to do it for me. Health right now is more like a 6 for me. Family and friends is probably a 7. Romance is more like a 2. I am at a point right now where I don't even care about that. Personal growth is an 8. Fun and recreation is like a 6. Physical environment may be a 7. And business and career is either an 8 or 9. So my will is not balanced. Why is my will not balanced? Because romance is a 2, where all the other wills have higher numbers. So what is it that I can do to balance my will out so that not that all my other my slices of the pie, so to speak, are depleted, but so that my romance is not left there to shrivel and die. In other words, I would have to figure out what is it that I can do for me that's going to make me feel comfortable to continue or to grow in this area. Will it take away from another area? Maybe, or it may help that area increase, because if I am working on personal growth, then personal growth helps me understand myself more. Understanding myself more is going to allow me to know what it is that I want romantically, what it is that I'll accept romantically, what it is that I will not accept romantically. So that area, that slice of the pie, may grow as a result of what I'm doing for my personal growth. So these wheels of life can be found online, or if you want, I will be able to send one out to you. You would just have to send me a message or an email to let me know that you would want one, so that you can gauge these things in your life, so that shows how balanced you are. And that balance is going to contribute to your overall wellness. Now, since we've talked about balance and wellness, let's go ahead and get into how finding your life purpose can lead to a meaningful life. Now, purpose leads to a meaningful life because purpose is a major part of having a meaningful life. When we say we want a purpose, it is because we want to contribute to the world. The idea of being able to give something to someone else. And when I say world, I'm not necessarily talking about globally. I could be talking about your individual world. Whatever the world means to you, and you want to contribute to it to make a difference. That is a part of having a meaningful life. And when we find our purpose and we walk in our purpose, that is an automatic important factor in living a meaningful life. Also, knowing what you're doing in your life is it's a big part of having a meaningful life. We sometimes are lost. And when we're lost or trying to find ourselves as teenagers or children, young adults, not children, I'm sorry, we always, or I have said, my life has no meaning because I'm not doing something that I feel good about, that I feel is making a difference in not only my life, but the life of someone else. Because we all want to feel useful. We all want to feel that we are contributing to something. But the major key in leading or living a meaningful life is that what is meaningful to you, or what a meaningful life means to you, is significant to you. It may not be significant to me. Everyone is going to have a different idea of what a meaningful life is based upon the things that they have experienced in life and just the different things that they go through in life. At this time, if anyone has any questions, please feel free to ask them. You can either unmute yourself or you can put it in the chat. I love to keep in touch with you. And of course, like I said, if you want the Wheel of Life diagram handout, you can keep in touch with me. through my website, which is KeishaGolder.com, Facebook at Coach Keisha, YouTube, Keisha Golder, LinkedIn, Keisha Golder. Be sure to keep in contact with me so that you know what I'm doing, the different things that I have coming up, as well as if you want to take a look at previous web class. Next week, we're going to talk about personal identity, what it is, what makes up our personal identity, and how personal identity can impact our lives. All of these things are important that we know on our journey to finding our purpose and knowing how we are going to fulfill our purpose. Again, this is my life purpose makeover journey, which I said is a 3-stage 9-step program. Each stage builds upon the first because initially we have to get to know who we are, and that means inside and out. We have to know why we do the things that we do. We have to know what we value, what we believe in, and how those things can help contribute to us changing our lives for the better. We have to also understand our environment has an effect. While we may not want to believe that it does. So how are we affected by our environment? What is it that we can do in our environment to make us better? What are the things in our environment that have allotted us the skills or talents, the passions, or the experiences that are going to help us change our lives so that we're able to live them on our own terms? And lastly, we're going to look at what our path is. I'm not telling you any of this information. We are going to work together so that you're able to visualize what you want to do, how you want to get there, define your purpose, and create your blueprint that your life is on your terms and no one else's. If you are interested in talking about anything on this roadmap or anything that I've discussed in this web class, please book a session with me if you're interested. Just go to KeishaGolder.com/let's talk. I'll see you guys next week. Thanks for joining me.